Hello Virgo, great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Virgo. So once again, I was telling all the other signs, I'm very sorry for the delay in getting the videos out for this month. June was a little bit of a 10 of Wands type of energy for me. It was just very difficult to take care of everything and, to have time to do these. And I'm also sorry for the lack of update in the weekly reports as well. Okay, well, let's just see here. Okay, so I know you like to go back and rework things. So for example, a lot of you are, being an earth sign, being a very practical, a very process and even result-oriented sign. A lot of you want to go back and fix things. If there is a problem, there has to be a solution. So that sense of rationality is overtaking your life. Okay, so whenever there's a problem and you are always the one that's like, let's form a solution. Let's just put all of our heads together and try to find a very, very stable, solid solution to make things work. So that's your approach to life. It will work on the life front. It will work in that front. However, when it comes to so I just want you to be a little bit careful this month and to pick your battles. Okay, pick and choose the things that are worth keeping in your life and the things that you definitely cannot change and things that are completely out of your control. Okay, so be realistic about what it is that who it is that you are trying to fix problems with. If they don't want to be helped, just leave them alone and, let other people take care of it. Okay, that's not your life lesson, and don't get caught up in other people's things, in other people's life situation. So we're getting a very similar spread to, I believe it was Capricorn. Yeah, you're getting a very similar energy to Capricorn. So at the center here is, we have this situation. Okay, so I am going to say first that a lot of you have to re-examine your choices, okay? Your decisions, and you have to re-examine your motives, okay? I'm going to read this as you because you are an earth sign. You're showing up in the reverse position, not only reverse, but because you are a page energy, which is a very carefree, a very undiscerning, like you're not very discriminate about who it is that you're getting involved with. And honestly, there is a sense that your motives are not even clear to yourself here. Okay, so it's important to keep that in mind. So that's the first thing. And one of the danger that is coming through as a result of this is, there is a person here, there's an air sign that you're dealing with. An air sign is a Gemini, an Aquarius, or a Libra. So I do feel that it is somewhat romantically linked. It can also be in a business environment, okay? So first of all, if it is in a romantic situation, I do feel that for Virgoan women, you might be involved with an air sign, and you're trying to decide if this person is worth the investment, okay? And I do feel there is a very strong sense of fascination with this person. Um, you feel, they make you feel very childlike. They make you feel very carefree. And air signs in general are very effective communicators. However, the King of Swords, which can be a female air sign or a male air sign, is in the reverse position. So it can play out in two ways. First of all, there might be a little bit of a standoffishness about this person. They're very emotionally blocked, okay? So I do feel that if you're looking for somebody who's very emotionally nurturing, someone who's supportive and things like that, not that air signs are not those things, but it is going to require a lot of work to dissolve this ice facade that they put on, okay? So it's going to require a lot of work from your end. At the same time, what I am sensing is this air sign is in the reverse position next to the Queen of Cups. So first of all, this is somebody who's very, very perceptive, okay? They are very perceptive. So it's kind of like taking on the qualities of a typical, stereotypical, very analytical air sign, but with the keen perception of a water sign. So you're dealing with somebody who is like, who's very emotionally repressed. They see everything that's going on. They can gauge people's motives and things like that. And, they're not very talkative about it. So you will never know how much they know. So I hope that makes sense. You're dealing with that situation. So you're dealing with somebody like that. It might not even be an air sign that you're dealing with. It's just somebody who is extremely perceptive, who is extremely like emotionally, they're a little vacant, so you don't know where you stand with them. So it's really important to not misrepresent yourself, mainly because you are shown up reverse and as a very young childlike energy. You might be a little bit carefree in their midst, and you might spill the beans. And I don't feel they're a gossip, but it is in the reverse position, so they can misuse or abuse the information that is coming from you to them, okay? So just be very careful about who you open up yourself up to, who you let into your life in general, because you might not be as objective and as discerning as other times of the month. All right? So that's one major thing that I am sensing. The second thing here is we have this separation situation, okay? So I do feel the theme for this month is just going to be separation. So the first card, Five of Pentacles, and then we have the Tower. So it's sort of like this is a situation where you are no longer feeling your romantic partner. You are no longer feeling your spouse. You're no longer like sure about the stability and the longevity of your love relationship, or even your partnership, or even your marriage, okay? This is also like in a situation in which it can revolve around family members, because I do feel like family structures in general are involved here. And the fact that we have a lot of kings and queens showing up, which indicates to me like it's sort of like a household with grandparents, with like in-laws, um, with parents, relatives, people from both sides of the household getting involved. And because of it, it becomes very messy to like have a clean break, have a clean divorce, because it's sort of like almost like when you're out here, you show the world your true colors, which is that you both are no longer on speaking terms. However, you have to like play nice. You have to put on this facade when you're indoors to appease the in-laws, to make them seem as if things, you guys are still together, things are still fine. And the facade can only like last for so long before we end up with the Tower, in which truths can come to light, in which things cannot be repaired. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to a lot of you. If there are situations in which you feel that it's pretty much the end of the line for a relationship, just let it go. Life's not too short. So, I mean, life is too short to cling on to things that no longer work for you. Okay, let them go to find the people that they're meant for, and give yourself the opportunity to find the ones that are meant for you. So do that for yourself and do that for one another. Okay, just end things, because if you keep going back, or if you are like a male Virgo and you are trying to make things work one last time with the female in your life, and you haven't been successful in the past, chances are you're not going to be successful in the future. If you have to go out of your way to constantly catch up with him or her, somebody that you've had multiple run-ins with, and you're trying your best to make things work, the other person is not going to put in the same amount of work, and you end up with a situation in which new beginnings can't start, mainly because you're clinging on to old things. Okay, so please be very careful about that. I do sense as well, there's almost like a very karmic relationship here with the King of Wands. Usually I read this card and it's a karmic debt. Okay, this is like basically debts or situations extending past decades, past lives, and things like that. Okay, this is something that you can't escape from, and it's indicated here, King of Wands. Okay, so for it can play out as like your father. It can play out as like a male authority figure, or it can also be a female in your life that is a fire sign. And I do sense that you've had multiple run-ins with this person, and they're showing up in the upright position. So it seems as if there is a lesson that you're supposed to learn from them. Okay, and I'm not going to say that. I feel that they're the teacher here. There is an important life lesson associated with this person that you have to learn so that you can so that you don't repeat the same mistakes, basically. So keep that in mind, okay? And at the same time, I am sensing here that the person in the past, there was a lot of work that you put in, and the other person didn't see it. Okay, so there are discrepancies in the way the story is told from your perspective versus this fire sign's perspective. So what I mean by that is they feel that they're in the right. They feel that they shoulder the burden in this relationship, whereas you yourself feel the same way. So there's like a very little agreement. There are mismatches in values, in both people's perception of what transpired in that relationship. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, it doesn't mean that any one party is completely right or wrong, so let's just put that out there. Okay, if it just doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's a difference in opinion. It's a difference in like philosophical beliefs and lifestyle choices. So just let it go. There is no use in arguing over who contributed more in a relationship. The relationship itself it cannot be salvaged at this point. So just let it go and give one another a break, because this is dragging on long enough. Okay, so yeah, just let it go, because once this happens, once you keep arguing over the technicalities, and I know you Virgos, you want to get the facts straight, you want to get the facts out there, but when you are dealing with relationship partners in general, everyone has their own, when you are emotionally invested in another person, you get really fired up, and the other person likewise will get fired up over you. So arguing over who contributed what, it doesn't lead to anything. What matters in relationship is just, so at this point you're arguing over different things, so there's just no, it doesn't make sense to keep doing that. Okay, so even though you want the answers, even though you are a very rational person, you want to get all these technical issues squared away, you want to keep the score, and you want to balance the bank account and the checkbook and things like that. But in relationships, it's just not conducive to keep tabs. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. I do feel that a lot of relationships, stable relationships in the past that have had like many ups and downs, will definitely be put to an end for this month. I do feel a lot of you are going to be forced to, and I do sense that one of the dangers is that as an earth sign, you do cling on to things and people for a really long time, and you do tend to like be complacent about being the first to walk out. Okay, so once you marry someone, for example, I feel like when it comes to dating, Virgos are very selective. So they usually, give their partner a very extensive screening process before they get involved. But once they're involved, they're committed and they will get married. And what I'm sensing here is like for those who are initially dating, I do feel that relationships that have been through the ringer are going to end. That relationships that have been challenging are going to end, because the karmic debt is paid, and you have both at this point adequately learned enough from one another. And if you have inkling about it, be the first to walk out of the relationship. Otherwise, the other person is going to walk out on you. And, obviously this is not going to apply for everybody. I'm just talking about very rocky, unsteady relationships in general, okay? Especially when it concerns like We have two kings here, one queen. So I'm going to say when it concerns infidelity, when it concerns people outside of the relationship. Okay, so it could be like let's see, it could be like a relationship with a fire sign, an air sign, water sign. It doesn't matter the element, but if there are like three people in a relationship, I feel that that's quickly going to end. And for those of you who are in a relationship with like a fire sign or a water sign, I would say try to appease the other person. Okay, they're of a different element, and I do feel that they're very emotionally supportive of you. It's just difficult for them to try to gauge what's going on in their life right now. They're a little preoccupied with things in things going on in their life that they might not have the time for you at this point. Okay, so that situation, it could work, but I do feel, especially if it's like a relationship with an air sign, I do sense that that situation is going to end for this month. And I do feel that you have, once again, I want you to be discriminate about why certain people are in your life, and you know what you are hoping out of it. Okay, so for example, going back to what I mentioned before when it comes to relationships, okay, don't cling on to things for too long. And if you have an inkling that your relationship is not going to work, get out of it right now before the end happens, which is that, you know, the other person will walk out on you, and then you're ending up with like a very stuck energy, okay, where you don't really know which way to turn. You don't really know, like, it's out of your control at this point, and you're at a loss for words. Okay, so you're kind of like dumbfounded, and you don't really know what to do next. So, you know, don't put yourself in that situation, and don't leave yourself vulnerable to that, where somebody walks out on you and you want them back, and it's just because, you know, you can't have them that you want them back. So make sure that's not coming through for you. So let's see, on the work front, I do feel a lot of expenditures are going to be required of you for this month, okay? So Virgos, in general, there are going to be some travel delays. We have the Chariot in the reverse position, so I want you to be very, very careful about driving, okay? Be very, very careful about driving, like driving to a new place, driving at night especially, and check your engine, check your car, you know, like do maintenance on your car. Be very careful about letting other people drive as well, because I do feel that there's an element of two people associated with this. So be very, very careful in general. Just minimize the time you spend on the road if you can help it, okay? Just so don't go for like a joyride, and especially don't let like a teenager drive your car. Don't let like a nephew and niece who might be a little bit inexperienced drive your car. So just, you know, keep that in mind. The Chariot is in the reverse position on top of the Tower card. So I do feel there might be like car trouble. There might be car trouble, which could lead to like a very catastrophic accident, in which if you are the driver, you might not only like harm yourself, but you might harm whoever is in the other car or in the car with you. So be very, very careful about this, please. So, you know, just mitigate the effects. It's good advice in general. Just for this month, please try to minimize the amount of time that you travel or you are physically driving a car. Okay, the Chariot, I've actually seen this in one of the spread I've done for myself, so please trust me on this. And car troubles are going to be in the works for you. At the same time, financially, things are going to be a little bit there's going to be a financial dip. So what I am sensing too is there could be like financial issues associated with car troubles, financial issues, or you know, expenditures, unexpected expenditures related to like fixing your car because of a little bit of an accident, speeding tickets. Well, we don't have the night of be careful of driving fast too. So I would say speeding tickets, something that is done very hastily. And and also repairs in your living environment, for example, remodeling, restructuring, something like that. It is going to be a little bit more expensive and costly on the financial front than you anticipated, okay? So you're kind of like coming through the beginning of the month and you feel a little bit like financially depleted, all right? And I do feel that because of it, the energy itself is going to get like a little bit worse by the end of the month, mainly because of all these little unintended consequences or side effects or, unanticipated expenditures that will be coming through for the end of the month. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye out for. So I kept trying to, say like on the work front, and then it just took me to down a different path. So let's go back to on the work front. I do feel that there is going to be a new project offered to you. And, it's almost like your company is downsizing. Okay, so for a lot of you, so you might have been trying to find work. You landed a job very recently, or you are going to land a job this month, and there is like a job offer to you, and you are going to take that job, and you're going to realize that I would say when new opportunities come in, try to mull it over and try to see if it's not like your cup of tea. Hold out for a better offer. If you're kind of like pressed for work, their true intention, the true nature of the work project will surface, and you're not going to be completely thrilled with continuing your work there. So you might leave your place of employment. Okay, a lot of you might have like moved houses, might have moved companies, might have switched over, like jumped the boat into another work situation as well. So that itself, if you're moving into something new, then just let it play out. Don't worry too much about it. Let it play out, and get the lay of the land before you quit. Okay, so that's just good advice in life in general. But I do feel that for this month, um, we have 4 court cards. Yeah, this month is very other oriented. So you are going to have to rely on other people in order to help you back on your feet. Okay. So what I'm sensing is that we have these 4 cards: the Chariot, the Four of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, Judgment, and, Judgment doesn't count, and the Ten of Wands. People will help lighten your load. So these are all very solitary cards, but they're on the reverse position, so which indicates to me that you're going to need other people to help you move forward, okay? Because going about it your own way is not going to be conducive for anything. So allow other people the opportunity to help you, okay? So for those of you who are dealing with an air sign, especially on the work front, there might be like a stalled in the amount of money given to you. There might also be a stalled amount in the amount of money that you're giving to the air sign. So there might be like delays in getting a payment, or there might be like a negotiation between, salary payments with an air sign. There might be some type of money exchange between the two of you with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And the other person is putting on like a poker face, and you don't really know what you should do and where you stand. So it's a little bit frustrating, and it's I do feel that if you're dealing with like an employer who is an air sign, and you're trying to ask for a pay increase, I do feel they are going to try to meet you. Just, be really decisive and firm about sticking to, like, making one offer and sticking to it, rather than going back and forth and trying to change the amount, because they're going to get very quickly like frustrated. Okay, they are pretty decisive. Um, so yes. Okay, so let's see if there is anything else that I am picking up. Okay, so you are actually getting, like, for all the signs, a lot of court cards. So you're getting 4 in this. I believe it was another sign. Aquarius got 4 as well. And there was another sign that I did for recently. I believe it might have been Cancer, where a lot of court cards show up. So in general, it is a month of family reunions and meetings, and having that, meetups with your relatives. So I'm not surprised all these people are showing up like this. But I do feel that there's a very strong karmic link here with a fire sign, and I do feel that you're going to have to work through this one, okay? So just keep in mind that free will is going to change the course of our lives. You're not, we are ultimately destined for other things, destined for greatness, destined to develop ourselves to the best of our capabilities, and things like that. But when it comes to free will, you have the ability to change your fate, and your free will needs to be exercised, okay? So when you've had like multiple run-ins with the same person and it doesn't work, it's important, first of all, to exercise your free will